You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
You want to get your backyard summer ready, but you don't want to break the bank? Wayfair gets it. Planning on dining al fresco or relaxing poolside? Wayfair has everything you need to prep your space. Shop now and save up to 70% off during Wayfair's 4th of July clearance. Score huge deals on outdoor furniture, area rugs, and more. We're talking thousands of products for every style and budget. Plus, surprise flash deals July 6th. Don't wait. Shop Wayfair's 4th of July clearance now through July 6th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Are you looking to be more involved in the Dog Pound community? If so, please visit patreon.com/dogwithabone. For just $1 a month, you can help support Dog with a Bone's mission. Please visit our page to learn about the multiple tiers that will give you access to behind-the-scenes content, outtakes, documents, photos, videos, and live monthly events with me. I thank you for your continued support and consideration. Warning, this episode contains adult content and listener discretion is advised. All views and opinions expressed by Dog with a Bone guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host or the contributors. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dog with a Bone. If you have not already, please join our Dog with a Bone discussion Facebook page where you can meet other listeners and discuss the episodes as we move through the season. There will be a ton to talk about. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to Dog with a Bone on Spotify or wherever you listen so you get notified when episodes are released. You're probably wondering why an episode is suddenly showing up in your feed. Well, that's because I have new information to share about Season 2 regarding Mackenzie Brenham. At the end of Season 1 and 2, I told you that if there were ever any new leads, new development, or new voices that came forward, I'd be right here back in the Dog Pound. And today, I'm back because something did happen. Something big. You never forget where you are when moments like this hit. I was at the water park with my family on Father's Day when I got a message from someone who was inside the home the night of the fire. Just a quick recap. That night, we know that Marianne, who was Mackenzie's mom, and her boyfriend Kenny were there, as well as Jamie and William Potter. Those are Marianne's brothers. When I began this investigation, I reached out to all of them for interviews. Every call either went unanswered or ended with someone hanging up. But now, more than a year later, one of those three Potters reached out to me. Who was it? It was Jamie Potter. Jamie contacted me for a few reasons, and we'll get into those later in the episode. But I'm going to take you through our conversation, piece by piece, and share my thoughts as we go. It's time to start digging. There are a few things that I need to clarify for you because context matters here, And without it, what Jamie says won't make sense. First, Jamie mentions someone named Ashley. Ashley is Jamie Potter's ex-wife. They share 2 children together. And Ashley has been firmly in Donald's camp for years. So when Jamie references her or talks about people being aligned with Donald, this is one of the individuals he's talking about. Second, Jamie opens our conversation by talking about the kind of person Donald is. What he's referring to is how Donald and I ended our working relationship, which, as you all know, was not on good terms. But here's the important part. Even though we are not working together, I think we're both after the same thing. I'm Team Mackenzie, he's Team Mackenzie. We're just not doing it together. So when Jamie makes his opening remarks, it's very clear that this is why he is now talking to me. He feels that because of how things ended, I would finally understand what he and his family have dealt with for the past 30 years. That's the subtext of his entire introduction.
I know you sent a request to follow me, and I'm sure you believe I'm the person that you portrayed me to be in your podcast. But I've also seen how quickly you found out the man Rick, Donald, is. My family has endured 30 years of him, and most of the community that we know. His, quote, affiliates, unquote, such as Ashley Bingington, has also done nothing but lie or twist truths to enhance the lies. And respectfully, this is the reason we have nothing to do with Donald. But if you was to open both sides' stories or understandings of what happened that evening, you would question things more deeply, like I do constantly, and would/could point fingers in several directions. But without knowing truthfully what's being said is correct, everything is just assumptions. Like his statement of me telling him that I was there till midnight. Never gave a time to anybody, not even the detective. All I ever said was I was there to pick up items I bought from her from a school sale they did.
One of the first issues that jumps out to me is this. Why did Jamie never tell the detective what time he was at the house? This is a huge red flag. If you're not involved and your family isn't involved, then giving a time window should not be a secret. It should be the easiest thing in the world to say. For example, I was there from X to Y. That helps investigators narrow the timeline. But he's saying he didn't do that. Not with the detective, and that matters. Jamie also said he went into the house that night to pick up items, but he never says what those items were. And here's my issue. At one point, his story was pizza. Then it became pumpkin rolls, and now we're at items. You may think this isn't a big deal, but shifts in stories matter. Because when I spoke to people who went to school with Mackenzie, including Miss Zimmerman, no one remembers a sale happening. Not pizza, not pumpkin roll, nothing. So if this pickup was so important that he had to go there that night, what is he actually picking up, and why does nobody know about it?
I got there as Mythbusters was coming on, and she was at the computer playing a game. Shortly after I entered, she was already showered and ready for bed, hair still wet. She finished a computer game she was playing. I believe it was a Barbie-themed game, of dress-up style type game. She started to head to bed. I asked if my sister had anything to drink. Little Mac, she hated that nickname I gave her, but she always smiled when telling me she hated it, said that they had tea. I asked if she'd get me a glass before going to bed. She did, and when bringing it to me, she asked if she could have some too. My sister told her it was too late for drinks, because just like Donald, she had a known issue of peeing the bed. I believe Donald probably still has that issue. But I told her to go ahead and get a drink of mine since she did get it for me. She took the drink, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and went up to bed.
Jamie then says about Mackenzie showering and that her hair was wet. Again, another huge detail because we know that she was clean when she went to bed. This means that she had no male DNA on her at that point. It would have been washed away. We also know he confirms that she had something to drink that he gave her, and then she went to bed. It's important to know that she did not go to the bathroom because semen was still found in those 3 orifices: oral, anal, and vagina. So if she was freshly showered when Jamie saw her, then for sure, 1,000%, we know the sexual assault had to happen after this point. This is one of the most important timeline anchors we have.
I never went upstairs to tuck her in and kiss her goodnight, like my ex-wife Ashley is saying I told her, whom I never met until 5 years later. Therefore, I have never spoken about a suitcase under her bed.
You may remember from the episode earlier in the season where we talk about Jamie went upstairs, kissed Mackenzie goodnight, and saw a suitcase under her bed. This is what Ashley, his ex-wife, has said. Jamie is saying that conversation never happened. He never went up and saw her after he said goodnight. So this is a direct contradiction.
The other story he's telling of the night she stayed with me, there was many nights she stayed at my house. I had a 1-year-old daughter that she adored and carried everywhere she went. But the story where supposedly I told him that she came to my door naked because of peeing the bed, well, that isn't how the story was told. Nor was I the one who told him. My oldest daughter, I just spoke of, she's 21 now, her mother, who I was with at the time, told him that she peed the bed, came to our door, and she had to go get her changed and back in a dry bed. Not me. During this time of my life, I worked for a farmer, and 16 plus hours a day was our norm, only getting days off or off early if it rained, and we couldn't get in the fields or bale hay because of moisture content. But with that said, Google search would show that Mythbusters came on at 9. Me leaving shortly after it went off would be shortly after 10.
You can Google it. Mythbusters aired from 9 to 10 p.m. Then maybe another show aired from 10 to 11. But sometimes a repeat of that 9 o'clock show does end up at 11 to midnight. So is it possible that Jamie showed up at 9? Sure. But does that mean he could also have been there at 11? Yeah.
Now, if he has witnesses saying that they seen them at the bar at 10:30, I'm sure those steps from her house to the bar could be easily done after getting dressed, within 20 minutes. That would better align with y'all's timeline better also. Because of it, there was, for an hour, leaving at 12, I think you said, I'd have gotten there at 11, and they should have been at the bar, correct? You want some insight that I think about? Knowing him in his past and Mary Ann's, and listening to his story through your podcast, I could shed some light, I'm sure, to make you question his story.
Let's just take a moment and walk through Jamie's theory that maybe Mary Ann and Kenny went back to the bar after Jamie left at 10 p.m. If this is true, that means 2 things. First thing is that Mackenzie was sexually assaulted when they went back to the bar, meaning she was left alone and someone took advantage of the situation. Or second, the sexual assault happened with Mary Ann and Kenny in the home. The reason I say that is because we know that she took a drink of tea from Jamie, and if that was between 9 and 10 p.m. and she went to bed, the sexual assault happened after that. If Jamie arrived between 11 and 12, then we know that the sexual assault happened after midnight, which then means that everyone was in the house. So my question is this. Is it possible that Mackenzie was given something to knock her out so that they could leave and go up to the bar? Or was she given something for the sexual assault to happen? Did someone think that she was given too much medication when they returned home? Something to consider. I went to the bar myself, the bar where Marianne and Kenny were, and I spoke to 2 people who were there that night and a third person separately. All 3 people told me the same thing. Marianne and Kenny left around 10:30. No one mentioned them coming back. No one mentioned them arriving at 10:30. Nothing matches what Jamie is describing of them possibly putting Mackenzie to bed and then going back to the bar. So when he references their timeline, I don't know what he's talking about.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Jalapeno Citrus Salsa. With bright citrus, real red jalapenos, guajillo chiles. Usually, you add sauce to the food, but when the sauce is this good, the food is just there to get the sauce to your mouth. That rolled quesadilla, not a rolled quesadilla anymore. Now it's a sauce shovel. Taco Bell's Jalapeno Citrus Salsa. Get it with any item on the Cantina Chicken menu while it's here. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only. While supplies last. Contact store for availability.
This is my first response to Jamie in his initial message. Thank you for commenting. I didn't see a request to follow. I would have accepted. I made multiple attempts to reach out to Marianne, Kenny, William, Kay, and your mom, trying to get both sides. When I look into a case, I want to talk to everyone. I really hope, since I didn't have any ties to the community, that I would have been able to connect with them. Mackenzie was such a sweet old soul, and she deserved justice. It was unfortunate that Donald felt the need to push me out. I had built a great relationship with the prosecutor. At first, he was hesitant because of past experiences with Mackenzie's case. I believe he quickly realized I was there to help. I didn't have a dog in this fight. I just wanted to get Mackenzie justice. Would you be willing to talk to me? Jamie did not respond, so I go on to explain more about the timeline. Marianne and Kenny left the bar at 10:30, per witness statements, and headed home. Donald said that you told him you got off work between 11 and 11:30. After work, you went to your mom and dad's house, and your dad told you that Marianne was blowing up his phone looking for you. Then you left to go to Marianne's and left around midnight. Was William still there when you left? I still have your number from before. I will give you a call tomorrow at 8 p.m. if that works for you. So I wanted to give him a time and a date to say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a call, and not really saying, do you want to call anymore? I put that last part in there about William because I wanted to see what his response would be to that question. I think it's important to determine what Jamie's level of commitment to the truth was going to be.
You're still ranting his story to me after I told you that's not how it was.
I understand that you stated you did not arrive until after 9 and left shortly after 10. I was simply explaining that some witnesses reported Marianne and Kenny leaving the bar around 10:30. I plan to follow up with those witnesses to better understand how confident they are in the timeline and whether it's accurate. I was also referencing what Donald said you told him. I wasn't sure how much of the podcast you had listened to or whether you had heard the statements he attributed to you. At this point, I only have Donald's account, and without hearing both sides, my goal is to get the truth for Mackenzie. There can be no real peace without those responsible being held accountable. If you could provide any information or clarification about what you know, it would be greatly appreciated. Any insight you can offer may bring us closer to the truth. Would you still be willing to take a call? After Jamie sent me the initial message, I knew I needed to get him on the phone. Text messages can be misinterpreted, tones get lost, intent gets blurred, and with something this serious, I wanted to hear his voice. I wanted to hear how he reacted when I asked him follow-up questions in real time. So I reached out and said, hey, let's talk on the phone. Simple, direct, and no pressure. His response?
That's what I and my brother Jeremy want also. His story stated they got there at 10:30 as someone was leaving. I'd listened to it all.
What I find interesting here is Jamie doesn't answer my question about William. He doesn't mention Marianne. He only mentions himself and his brother Jeremy wanting justice. A brother I've never spoke to, and a brother who has never once responded to any attempt I made to reach him. When I was in town when we first started the investigation, we had left a flyer on Jeremy's door. Nothing. Not a call, not a message, not even a stop contacting me. Just silence. When someone starts editing the story, trimming people out, adding people in, shifting timelines, that's when you pay attention, because omissions are just as loud as contradictions.
You know, his side states that nothing would have stopped him from getting to her. Yet, he made it halfway, looked at his fuel gauge, so he turned around and came back. That timeline would also fit him with being in Jeffersonville when it started, and he drove all the way to Courthouse instead of halfway to Jeff and back, would it not? You asked on your Facebook stuff for my exes to reach out, and the little I can see and some that others show me. Did you speak to any of the two that I know of that commented that they once PM'd you? The one, Shauna, she worked with Rick that night. And up until he stated on your podcast that he was fired that night, everyone, including Shauna, stated that he had disappeared. More on that, he was fired from a bar, got the call while being with his girlfriend, now ex-wife, headed to Jeffersonville, decided he didn't have the gas halfway there, so he then turned around and went to his former place of employment instead of back to his soon-to-be wife, and what? Just sat there with former employees instead of his future wife? Yet he still worked there afterwards? He didn't drink? Why go to a bar? Have you spoken to his ex-wife? What was her memory of the evening? Or better yet, why isn't she talking with you? Answer some of those and maybe I will speak with you. All I've seen so far is you're speaking through his ass and exactly what he and my ex-wife has wanted said.
At this point, I'm going to skip his next few messages because he discusses the person I had interviewed in the podcast who shared her personal sexual assault with us regarding Jamie. And he goes more into detail about how this was all a lie. And this particular person has been fed this information for years. So I'm just not going to get into anything further. Listen, I understand why someone might ask those questions. They're fair questions. They're questions I've explored myself. But the way Jamie frames it, it's not just curiosity. It's an accusation. It's him trying to poke holes in Donald's behavior while conveniently ignoring the holes in his own and his brother's and his sister's story. Because here's the thing. It's very easy to point the fingers at someone else's decisions when you haven't explained your own timeline, your own inconsistencies, your own missing details. It's very easy to say, why did he do that? When you still haven't told anyone why you were at the house, when you left, where was your brother, or what were you supposedly picking up? So yes, Jamie questions Donald's choices, but questioning someone else's behavior doesn't automatically make your own story make sense. And in this case, it actually raises more questions than answers. Jamie didn't respond after that last message, so I followed up, letting him know I did talk to one of his ex-girlfriends. I have spoken with a few of your former girlfriends. Shauna did not reach out that I can remember. Kim did not want to become involved, and although she did speak with a member of my team who is local and knows her personally, Kim did show up at the rally in the support of Justice for Mackenzie. The fire marshal cleared Donald of any involvement in the arson, and he also passed a polygraph examination. Additionally, DNA testing ruled him out as a suspect in the sexual assault. That said, I still do not know what was going through his mind that night or why he made the decisions he did. According to Donald, he did not have enough gas to make it to Jeffersonville and stated that no gas stations were open at that time. As for why he was at the bar that evening, my understanding is that he was there as a bouncer. When I told Jamie that Donald had been cleared, he ended up sending me a Google screenshot of Google AI where it says a fire marshal does not have the legal authority to formally exonerate or clear someone of the crime of arson once it has been established the fire was intentionally set. I actually find this funny because how do you not already know that he hasn't been cleared? So what I did was send Jamie a screenshot of the news article from 2010 where it states in black and white that Donald and his girlfriend were cleared. I sent it to him directly. I then followed up when no response came. Let's talk about that night now that you know Donald was cleared. Let's focus on who is not so we can get justice for Mackenzie, as you mentioned. Remember, Jamie told me that him and his brother Jeremy want justice for Mackenzie. Those were his words. And if that's true, then now that Donald is off the table, the next logical step is to focus on people who haven't been cleared. If your goal is justice, that should matter. That should motivate you. That should open up the door to a real conversation. Silence matters because when someone reaches out to you voluntarily, when they initiate the conversation and then suddenly go quiet the moment you ask for clarity, that tells you something. It tells you that they're comfortable talking at you, but not necessarily comfortable answering questions from you. And in an investigation like this, that distinction is everything. But wait, he then responded.
Let's not.
If you say you want justice for your niece, and the moment we remove the person you've been blaming for years and why you started this conversation, you now suddenly have nothing left to say, that tells me your focus wasn't on justice. It was on Donald. Sounds a lot like Vernon. These are the same things Vernon said to me in his interview. He said the same thing about the gas, went halfway, the bar, why go home. Same exact thing. Jamie Potter, Vernon, exactly saying the same things. But Vernon's the one who cleared him in the newspaper. So I don't know why he's still having these conversations. But before I could let this go, I had to ask him one last very important question because I knew our time was running out. Then why would you message wanting justice for your niece who was not only murdered, but also sexually assaulted? Was your only goal to steer the case to Donald?
No, but you can't keep a story straight and are biased and still spitting his lies, or I guess his story. So please stop messaging me.
Nobody is spitting his lies. My investigation is based on my interviews, documents, and evidence that I've reviewed. If you choose not to help your 8-year-old niece that was raped and murdered, that's on you. You are the one who has to live with it. I want to make something clear here as well. He's saying I'm just spitting Donald's lies. Did Donald gather a lot of information and do an investigation on Mackenzie's case? 1,000%. Just like Bernie's dad did in Bernie's case. But do I rely on what they have given me? No way. That would be insane. Why? Because I have different questions. People don't always tell the victim's family everything. Sometimes they forget things. Sometimes they remember later. Sometimes they only feel comfortable talking to somebody outside the family. But the interviews that you hear on this podcast are my interviews with my questions 20 years later, looking at this with a fresh set of eyes. Now, were there a few times that I had to rely on Donald's information, like the conversation he had with Marianne or when Lieutenant Sines showed up before he passed away? Those are obviously interviews I couldn't get. But our time then came to an end.
Leave me alone.
And then he blocked me. It was so obvious this was never about justice for Mackenzie. This was a game. He or they were trying to use Dog with a Bone as a puppet. The goal was not accountability. The goal was not clarity. The goal was to get on here and attack Donald. At first, I generally thought, okay, great. Let's show him Donald was cleared and then we can move on. Let's talk about William. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about Marianne and Kenny. You all were there that night. That's where I wanted this to go. But I had my doubts from the moment I saw his message. When I had sent the article to him where Vernon, who is the sheriff and is the sheriff, who does not like Donald at all and would never have cleared him unless he absolutely had to, it was over. He stopped talking. He shut down and then he blocked me. Which one of these people do you find more suspicious? And don't come to me claiming you want justice for your niece, your 8-year-old niece, and then do this. Don't disappear. Don't block me. Don't shut down the moment the narrative doesn't go the way you want. I pulled that thread as long as I could pull it. And honestly, I knew he'd block me eventually. It wasn't a surprise. It just confirmed what I had already suspected. And one more thing to know. Every single message, every screenshot, every detail from this exchange has been turned over to the prosecutor. Like I said at the end of the season, I will continue to send every lead, every tip, every piece of information to the prosecutor who is actively investigating the case. What do we do at this point? We wait. We wait to see what happens. And if there are any other updates, you know I will be right back here in the dog pound to give them to you. But until then, season 3 will be here before you know it. Dog with a Bone is hosted by Melissa Sandberg, investigated, produced, and written by Melissa Sandberg. Additional writing by Caitlin Sandberg. Edited by Jason Sandberg. Mixed and mastered by Morrow Mixing and Mastering. Theme music by Alex Yukich. Dog with a Bone is a Sasquatch production.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times.